The moment I opened the door that morning, I saw her, Karen, clipboard in hand, fuming like she owned the sun itself. "This barn is on HOA land," she shouted, her voice echoing across the dirt driveway. I froze for a second, staring at the freshly built barn, proud and solid, barely 2 weeks old. My hands were still dusty from hammering the last nail. "Showland?" I asked calmly, but inside my heart skipped. "This is my property," I said, trying not to raise my voice. She stomped closer, flipping through some papers like they were sacred law. "You can't just build here." "I've got the notices." "You're breaking every rule in the book." I stepped in front of the barn, blocking her view. Funny, because I double-checked the county records before even digging a single post. "Every inch of this land is mine." Her eyes narrowed, the kind of glare that could make grown men tremble. "Oh, we'll see about that," she hissed, dialing her phone. Before I could even ask who she was calling, a car screeched down the street. 2 men in suits, badges barely visible, ran toward us. "Sir, we got a complaint." I looked at them, then at Karen, then back at them. Something didn't feel right. Real cops don't run up waving badges like that. Karen smirked like she had won, like the world was finally obeying her. But then I smiled. Just a small, quiet smile. "You know," I said, voice calm but firm, "before you enforce anything, maybe you should check whose property the houses around here sit on." Her smirk faltered. Her eyes darted toward the street. And that's when she realized the twist wasn't mine. It was hers. She froze, her phone half raised as her eyes widened. "Wait, what do you mean?" she stammered, finally noticing the cluster of houses just a few steps from my barn. Her perfect HOA world, built on fake authority, suddenly looked shaky. I pointed casually toward the neat rows of houses behind her. "Every single one of those? On my land." Karen's jaw dropped. That's impossible," she whispered. Her voice cracked like a child caught lying. "I checked the deeds," I said, trying to keep my tone light. But inside, adrenaline was surging. "I own this land. Every inch. Even where your HOA clubhouse sits, technically, it's mine." The 2 men in fake badges exchanged nervous glances, fumbling with their paperwork. Karen's hands trembled. You can't prove that," she spat, panic finally breaking through her fake confidence. I smiled wider, pulling out a folder with freshly printed maps, surveys, and property deeds. The kind of evidence that doesn't argue, it shouts. "Oh, I can." And I just did. Karen's eyes darted, calculating, plotting a way out. She couldn't just scream, "Arrest him," anymore, not now. Not with the entire truth staring her in the face. Then she did the only thing she thought would save her. She lunged toward the fake cops. "You two! Arrest him!" "Trespassing, destruction of HOA property." The men froze, I froze, and for a split second, the air felt heavier than a storm cloud. Then I laughed. Not loudly, not meanly, just a quiet, deadly calm laugh. "Funny thing," I said. "I'm the guy who handles trespassers around here. The real sheriff's badge." "Yeah, that's mine." Karen's scream turned into a strangled gasp. The fake cops' faces went pale, realizing they were standing in the wrong fight. The barn behind me suddenly felt more than wood and nails. It felt like victory, waiting to happen. Karen's face twisted, half in rage, half in panic. She stumbled back, muttering under her breath, This isn't over." Her perfect little HOA world was crumbling around her, and she didn't know which way to turn. I stepped closer, keeping my hands calm but my eyes sharp. "I'd suggest you leave before someone gets hurt." "Legally," I said, letting the pause stretch long enough to make her sweat. But Karen had one last card. She sprinted toward my barn and ripped a stack of papers from the ground, the ones I'd been using, to show proof of ownership. "These don't mean anything." "The HOA can fine you," she screamed. I sighed and picked up my phone. "Oh, they can fine me? Funny. I've got the county recorder on the line live. They'll confirm these deeds right now." Her eyes went wide, panic crawling up her neck. She turned to the fake cops again, hoping for backup. "Do something! He's lying! Before she could finish, one of the fake cops froze mid-step. His phone buzzed. He looked down. Boss, it says the HOA doesn't even own this land. We're on his property." Karen's knees buckled. I watched her, almost curious, as the perfect villain finally started to unravel. No, that can't be right, she whispered. Then a sudden bang echoed behind the barn. I spun around. My young daughter was standing there, holding my GoPro like a shield. I recorded everything, Dad, she said, eyes blazing. From when you started building to Karen's threats. Karen's scream was cut short as the evidence flashed across my phone. Screen, every lie, every fake notice. Every attempt to intimidate, all captured. I smiled at my daughter. You did good. That's why we don't need to worry about fake authority. Karen's world was officially collapsing. And just when I thought it couldn't get better, she pulled out another phone and started, streaming live to the HOA board, Karen's, face turned redder than fire, her live stream still rolling, as she ranted about illegal building and breaking HOA rules, her followers, or whoever the HOA thought would back. Her watched, thinking she was in control. But she didn't notice the comments flooding in, pointing out every twist, every flaw, every house sitting on my land. I leaned against the barn, calm as ever. Karen, I said softly, letting the live feed hear me. It's cute how you think this makes you powerful. But the only thing you've built here is trouble for yourself. Her hands shook as she waved the phone like it could save her. I have authority. You... I cut her off, holding up a printed map with survey lines and lot numbers. The HOA doesn't own anything here. And these houses? All mine. Your clubhouse? Mine too. The live feed went silent for a second. Then viewers started reacting, shocked and entertained. The comments section exploded. Wow, she's been lying this whole time. Is this legal? His barn though? Karen's panic turned into pure desperation. She tried to grab my phone to stop the stream. I stepped aside, letting her pull air. Careful, I said. You might just record yourself admitting trespassing. Her eyes widened. She hadn't thought of that. She cursed under her breath, then tried to storm toward the street, hoping someone would back her up. That's when the real cops showed up. Sirens, lights, the works. Karen froze. The fake cops had bolted. And she realized too late. The authorities she tried to call weren't on her side. The real officers walked up, badges out. Ma'am, we've had complaints about impersonation, one said. Her mouth opened, then closed. Nothing came out. Her perfect little world had collapsed in front of the entire neighborhood and a live online audience. My daughter tapped my shoulder. Dad, everyone saw it. You're winning. I smiled and whispered mostly to myself. And the best part? This is just the beginning. The courtroom was silent when Karen walked in, still wearing that same tight smile like she owned the place. She avoided my eyes and sat straight, pretending nothing had happened. Her lawyer leaned over and whispered something, and she nodded fast, way too fast. The judge looked tired, like he had seen this kind of person before. We are here to settle a land dispute, he said. HOA versus private owner. Karen stood up first. Your Honor, this man built a barn on HOA land without permission. He ignored notices and threatened our community. Her voice sounded confident, but shaky. I stayed seated, calm, letting her talk. Then her lawyer handed over a thick folder. According to our records, the HOA has managed this land for years. The judge turned to me. Sir? I stood up slowly and placed my own folder on the table. Your Honor, I didn't threaten anyone. I built on land I legally own. And not just the barn. I slid the documents forward, deeds, old surveys, county stamps, dates going back decades. The judge adjusted his glasses. His eyebrows lifted, then lifted more. Karen leaned forward. That's fake, she said quickly. Too quickly. I looked at her and spoke calmly. My grandfather bought this land before the HOA even existed. The HOA didn't manage it. They built on it. Without permission. The room shifted. You could feel it. The judge tapped the papers. According to this, he said slowly, the homes represented by the HOA are sitting on the defendant's land. Karen stood up, shaking now. No, that can't be right. We paid taxes. I nodded. You paid taxes on houses, not on the land. Her lawyer went pale. He flipped pages fast, sweat forming on his forehead. Then came the second twist. I added one more document to the stack. And, Your Honor, this is a cease and desist notice I never sent, because I wanted peace, not war. The judge leaned back, staring straight at Karen. You threatened him, towed his vehicle, filed false reports. All while standing on his land? Karen opened her mouth. Nothing came out. The judge sighed. This court does not look kindly on abuse of power. I sat back down as the gavel lifted. And that's when Karen finally understood one thing. She didn't bring me to court. She walked herself into a trap. Karen was sweating now. No anger left. No fake confidence, just fear. Her lawyer leaned in again, whispering fast, but it was useless. The damage was already done. The judge looked at her one more time. You claimed authority you didn't have. You threatened a legal landowner. You involved fake enforcement. He paused. That's not an HOA issue. That's criminal. Karen snapped. He tricked us, she yelled, pointing at me. He stayed quiet on purpose. I stood up slowly. I stayed quiet because I believed in the law. I thought truth would be enough. I glanced at the judge. Looks like it was. Then came the twist she never expected. The judge asked me one question. Do you want to press charges? The room held its breath. Karen's knees nearly gave out. I didn't answer right away. I looked at her. The same woman who tried to shut off my water. The same woman who told my daughter we would lose our home. I want my land respected, I said. And I want my family left alone. The judge nodded. That can be arranged. He turned back to Karen. You are fined for false reporting, trespassing, and abuse of authority. The HOA is ordered to stop all action immediately. Her lawyer dropped his pen. But the final blow was still coming. The judge added, and since the HOA structures sit on private land, the owner has the right to charge rent. Karen's head snapped up. Rent? I met her eyes. Every month. For every house. Gasps filled the room. HOA members in the back started whispering, some angry at her, some scared of me. The judge struck the gavel. Case closed. Outside the courtroom, cameras were waiting. Karen rushed past them, face covered, her world officially broken. My daughter squeezed my hand. Dad, you won. I shook my head. No, we're just finally safe. And as we walked away, one thought stayed in my mind. She tried to take my barn. Instead, she lost her entire kingdom. Outside the courthouse, things moved fast. Too fast for Karen. News vans lined the street. Phones were up. People were recording. Someone yelled her name. She flinched like she'd been hit. One reporter shouted, "Is it true the HOA built on land they didn't own?" Karen tried to push through the crowd. No comments. She screamed, but her voice cracked. I stopped. I didn't run. I didn't hide. I just stood there with my daughter beside me. A reporter turned to me. Sir, why didn't you stop them earlier? I looked straight at the camera. Because I believed people would do the right thing once they saw the truth. I paused. Some people don't. That clip spread fast. By evening, it was everywhere. Karen's name, her face, her lies. Old HOA emails started leaking. Messages where she bragged about power, about forcing people out, about owning the neighborhood. HOA members began calling me. Not angry, scared. We didn't know, they said. She told us everything was legal. I kept my answer simple. I never wanted your houses. I wanted respect. Then came another twist. The city released a statement. They were opening a full investigation into the HOA board. Funds missing, fake fines, false reports. Karen wasn't just exposed. She was done. That night I stood by my barn, lights on, solid and quiet. My daughter leaned on my shoulder. She thought you were weak, she said. I smiled. That's her biggest mistake. Because power isn't loud, and real owners don't need to scream. The neighborhood felt different after that. Quieter, like everyone was. Finally breathing again, the HOA signs came down one by one. No more fake notices. No more threats slipped under doors. Just normal people trying to live their lives. A few weeks later, Karen took a deal. Heavy fines, probation, banned from any HOA role ever again. The board was dissolved. The city stepped in to fix the mess she left behind. I didn't tear anything down. I didn't kick anyone out. Instead, we signed fair agreements. Simple terms. Respect the land. Respect the people. One evening, I stood with my daughter by the barn as the sun went down. The wood glowed warm, solid, free. She looked up at me. Dad, why didn't you fight back sooner? I thought for a moment. Because real strength is knowing when to stand. and when to let the truth do the work. A neighbor walked over. A veteran like me? He shook my hand. You reminded us what this country is about. I looked around. Flags on porches, kids riding bikes, families safe again. I didn't fight for this country, I said quietly. To be told I don't belong on my own land. The barn still stands, strong, legal, untouched. And every time I look at it, I remember one simple thing. Freedom isn't loud, ownership isn't permission, and power never belongs to bullies. Karen tried to take my land using fake power, but the truth came out in court. It was proven that the HOA houses were built on my property. The judge stopped the HOA, fined Karen, and exposed her lies. I didn't throw anyone out, I only protected my rights. In the end, my family was safe and justice won.